That was good. That was good. Hopefully they can hear us. Wait for a few people to come in. Pull it up over here. Boom. Just read the title. Hey, listen, that's what we here to talk about, Aiden. Don't beat me up quite yet, bro. Don't beat me up quite yet. We got a story to tell. We got a story to tell. I'm waiting for it to pop up over here so I can see y'all comments. Thanks for sliding in. There we go. It's up now. Now I gotta wait for the comments to load. We should be in good shape. I don't know what's going on with the internet. It's just acting funky.
It is doing its own thing today.
All is on its own little mission.
It's because we got this wind out here.
Yeah, a little bit of wind. How can y'all hear us? How we sound? We got people rolling in. You gotta give me a moment. It's loading over here. Internet's acting funky.
My apologies. I should have got dressed before I came.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Is this a homebrew?
Nah.
No homebrew today.
Nah, ain't no homebrew. We running low on the homebrew.
I thought I was gonna get a little extra business today.
See what we got going on. Latarsha, hey, how you doing? Sounding crispy. Okay, so you can hear me? That's good. That's good. Start the story. Okay, Grace. We're gonna get in it. Hey, Garden of Eden, how you doing? Okay, at least we got the internet looks like it wants to catch up. I'm gonna switch to just a regular one. Is maybe the distance. Maybe I need a mesh or something, right? Who knows?
Told you that's the best thing since sliced bread. I got one in the house, man. Never a dead spot anywhere.
Right.
Until, the internet provider does their thing and
Right.
want to do
They acting funky.
work while kids supposed to be.
How's
home
y'all?
school.
You're right. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Nah, you good, man.
Yeah. How's y'all's week been? How's your week been? Grace, you was demanding. Grace said, start the story. Start the story. Well, while my computer is catching up, let me just make sure y'all are still in here over here. Okay, cool. All right, y'all still over here. And I guess y'all can hear me. I'll just, when the comments come up, they'll come up. But we'll go ahead and get started. I won't hold y'all too long. So sitting to my right, we have my neighbor, Marcus. He's the man behind the camera. He said, busy, you? Oh, my week's been busy too, bro. Super busy. So we're starting to catch up over here finally. The man behind the camera. This is the guy, whenever you see me like do a cool little quick camera trick and I hand it off, or you see someone doing B-roll shots for me like last week's video, this is the guy that's doing it. He's the one pulling the angles. He's actually into photography, and he's just been a great neighbor since I've been here for 2 years. We've been here for 2 years, right?
Yeah, we've been doing it 2 years.
Been here for 2 years. Now, one thing that you haven't seen me doing a lot of is showing his yard, but he's been actively working on his yard the same amount of time. Maybe he was a few months behind me.
Yeah, probably a couple of months.
Yeah, a few months behind me.
So if I can interrupt you.
Yeah,
if you
go
don't
for it.
mind.
Yeah, go for it.
The true reasoning behind me getting my yard together was a lot of it had to do with when you walk out of the way our house faces, it faces into his yard. You remember the story, right? And then so one day my wife, she was like, man, his yard looked good. And I was like, yeah, it does look good. And then she was like, a week later, it was like, man, his yard really looks good. So I started to take a little exception to that and was like, I want her to say the same thing about my yard, right? So, and then that's pretty much how it started. It was just a labor of love. I would see you out here doing it.
Yeah.
And then I'm not really a lawn guy, a garden guy.
Right.
But I want to have a nice lawn, right?
Right.
And then I saw the hard work that you were putting in. And then, one thing led to another. And then here I am we'll get to the title.
Doing the bare minimum. Now,
Yeah.
it's almost like if I've ever done a clickbait title, this is it.
Yeah.
Because the bare minimum might not exactly be what you guys think it is. And I'm looking at myself real quick. I just want to remind you guys real quick, I'm still doing my campaign. If you haven't donated and you're able and willing, please check out any link. The link is in every video that I've done this month. That is why I've been wearing pink all month. I told you I would be doing that. We have raised quite a bit of money so far. I thank you if you've already contributed, and I thank you if you will be contributing in the near future. But yeah. So
So that was great too.
what's
by
up?
the way,
What's that?
being able to mesh the two. You got your lawn care
Right.
community,
Right.
you got your gardening community,
Right.
and then to be able to bring in a serious topic
Yeah.
such as breast cancer specifically for October.
Right.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty
Well,
dope.
I kind of like I said in the video when I made the announcement, I accidentally got this pink shirt. I ordered the wrong shirt. It was the Lead Farmer 73. We picked the wrong color on accident, right? But when it came and I looked at it, I was like, oh well, I don't mind wearing pink. I'm comfortable wearing pink. But initially, something struck in my head and it was like, you know what? Last year you did the Movember campaign.
Right.
So why not do some love for the females as well? So I know myself personally within my family, there's quite a few females that have struggled and lost that fight.
Absolutely.
So I figured it'd be a good thing, and I just wanted to use my platform to do something. I mean, it's all positive vibes here, guys.
Right.
Y'all know that. So I figured I'd do something positive that I could do positive to bring to this platform. So it looks like we can actually see the chat moving. If Bettina Morgan was the last one to make a comment, actually you can look at it on yours, right?
I can. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so-
grabbed it, but it paused because I'm a little bit further away from my house, and I ain't got my network with me.
You ain't got
I ain't got my network with me, so I gotta.
So we're here.
I ain't gonna lie, I got that cheap plan.
The
That little. I get like 5 text messages a month. I gotta be very careful.
Careful how you burn up your data.
Strategic
Yeah.
moves. So.
You said you're gonna go live after me, sipping that good wine. I am Larita King. We're enjoying. This is not DIY. I got another batch rolling. The batch that I did.
This ain't you.
No, this not me.
Oh man, I was gonna give you some kudos. Like this, some good.
But
good
you
taste
got
on-
some of me.
I do,
And
and
when
I'm
you-
waiting for the perfect moment to
Right,
sip
when
on it.
you
so.
crack that open, I'm sure you'll be just as
Yeah.
happy
We'll
with
see.
it. It's not a Napa Valley cab or anything though, but I mean, I
It
love
doesn't
my
al-
wine, people.
It doesn't always have to be though.
No, it doesn't
doesn't
always have to be. It doesn't always have to be. How long is this going to be? 3 hours? No, it is not going to be 3 hours. Dude, you are wearing a black shirt with pink writing. Yeah, pink. Having pink on for the month of October, and I got my bracelet on as well. And it actually says hope, fight, cure, Grace. I hope that's acceptable. Is that acceptable, Grace? Bettina, he not on LST time. No, I'm not on LST time. That's funny. We just that's Led.
Mm-hmm.
So you made a joke. I think it was yesterday, and it was like Lead Farmer standard time because when he go on his lives,
Start when you want to.
he start when he wanted to,
End
and
when
he
he want
finish
to.
when he want to. It's kind of like how me and Malik was the other night, and I
Which
kept
was
trying
dope.
when I kept trying to
Which
end
was
it.
really dope. So if I could digress, so I got 2 things I need to say. One, I got a family, right? And you know that family time's important, but I was sitting there and my wife, she kept asking me, she was like, you still watching it live? And I'm like, yeah, I want to put it down. I really want to put it down, but I feel like if I put it down, I'm going to miss something.
Right,
So I sat there and watched it. I only realized that I didn't really miss anything,
right.
but it was still very, very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
it was
Malik had a good
it
time.
was a good watch.
I could tell he had a good time. He hijacked my live towards
Yeah.
the end. Went off on his own thing. That was my little brother, guys.
So that's what that's what I was really afraid of missing was
Malik.
him.
Right.
Right. Because I
Hey.
see you on a regular.
Right.
Right. But it was
It's
good
been a
to
while
see-
since you've seen Malik.
Yeah,
you
we-
haven't seen Malik since.
going on about almost a year.
Yeah, it's been a while
Yeah.
because he moved. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was pretty dope. But before you do get started, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to come and kick it with you.
I appreciate
This
you.
is kind of like what. So we're gonna be real. This is what we do on a regular basis.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
We
we
sit
kick
out,
back.
we talk,
Yeah.
and then you just get good vibes. When you find good people, you want to share that time with good people. So,
It's facts. It's
but one
facts.
thing that I will say though is this is something similar to inviting somebody over to like your family's house,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because everybody on the other side of this camera is family. That's a
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you got to be trusted in order to be allowed to interact with an extension of your family. So I appreciate that. I appreciate those that are tuning in,
Right.
because it's not so much about not a legacy, but like a reputation.
Right.
This has nothing to do with your reputation. It has everything to do with those that you keep around you.
Facts.
So if you keep good people around you, then good things happen. And
Yeah.
So I appreciate you allowing me
Yeah.
to come and kick it with y'all.
Yeah. Does it look fuzzy to just us? That's probably us on our end. But
Yeah, it's that internet, man.
it's that
It's that internet. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. Hopefully you guys got your libations. You are nice and comfortable, and you are ready to start chatting. So what we want to do, I'll give you guys the option. Do you want to go see the lawn right now? Let's go check out his lawn and do a little bit of talking, or do you want to hop into the conversation and then we show the lawn later? Does your neighbor need a weed whacker or blower trying to dump these two off? Nah, he doesn't need one. He doesn't need one. Well, I'll let him speak for
Well,
himself.
no, yeah, no. I mean, it speaks for itself.
Right, well,
you know
we'll
what I mean?
see.
When you see it,
We'll see.
not to be.
Show
when
the
you-
lawn
yeah,
first?
Yeah, when you see
Okay.
it, you'll kind of sort of understand.
Grass and
like,
your plants are beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Loretta.
Yeah.
Loretta.
Look, lawn first. See,
Lawn first.
They focus, man.
Lawn first.
They
Lawn first. They focus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's take a trip. Let's go on a field trip, guys. Field trip. I'll let you hold this.
I'ma
since
hold the
you'll-
mic?
Yeah, you'll be commentating.
Well, I mean, you should have let me hold the camera, though, right? Yeah. So.
This is about you.
Yeah. No, this ain't me. This is
And
you.
what you've done.
This is.
Oh, don't fall.
Not live.
Don't die.
Not live. Yeah.
Okay, so this is right across the street,
Mm.
guys. I'll speak and then I'll let him go. So last year, we overseeded this lawn for the first time with a mix from my agricultural store, Kentucky Bluegrass Turf Type Tall Fescue. And this year, we did an overseed and aeration of Pete's GCI Turf Cool Blue Mix, right? And it went well.
It went well.
It went well.
It went a lot faster than I thought.
A lot faster.
Started to see some of those instant results, which obviously we'll get to. But,
Right. So, just walk us through your lawn real quick, and tell the people whatever you want to tell them, man. The mic is yours.
The mic is mine. Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate
literally
it.
it's yours. It's in your hand.
It's so this is a little bit of a role reversal because normally I'm on the other side of the camera and you're the
That's
one
true.
doing the talking.
That's true.
But I really don't know how to begin just because I didn't know where to start when we first started doing this, right?
Right.
All I knew is I wanted something green
I love notes.
and I wanted something plush and I wanted something that I could be proud of.
Right.
So it was just more of providing the lawn what it needed, as well as, getting some pointers and tips from you. So it worked out good. Now I can kind of sort of, take my feet. And I think when we first started, this was a horrible foundation. So
Yeah.
it wasn't
y'all
plush.
can see.
It wasn't plush. And then so I need the camera right here because this is the biggest thing for me, right?
Okay.
So do you remember when we first started, this was like almost level with the ground?
Yes, it was.
It was almost level with the ground.
It was pretty flat.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the one thing that I didn't realize at first was it wasn't exposed roots at all. Now I got exposed roots. I got that ground sitting down, and then I got that grass that's sitting up. So I got a good, what do you call it? A good
Soil profile.
Yeah, no,
Hold on,
but-
wait. Let me because I think the wife still has.
Uh-oh. So, look, how he gonna give me the camera and now I got to do the tour of my own lawn? I thought this was his live. But yeah, no, I am talking trash. But yeah, so it's just more about looking at things from a different view. Hey, let's do that transition that we did.
Which one?
No, it ain't gonna work if
It
you
ain't
all
gonna
in the
work
camera.
yet,
No,
'cause
it's not
I
gonna
ain't
work
got
if
the
you're in the
slow-mo
camera.
one. All right.
But I need to figure out the word that I'm looking for.
So
But
say it again. Start from the top because I was distracted because the wife had the thing covering her license plate.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to get pulled over.
No, it was more about having a good turf. I guess that's the best word for right now.
I mean, you were suffering from a lot of compaction. It was very dry.
It was.
It was flat.
It was.
It just looked like trash.
It did look like trash. And then so we did the soil loosener. We got some good water, and I couldn't do this last year.
What's going on, lad? How you doing, brother?
I couldn't do this last year.
We couldn't do.
We
this
couldn't do
last
any
year.
of that.
Right.
So now it doesn't matter where I put this at. It just slides into the ground. So
Right.
that works out great. Yeah,
Nice and easy.
nice and easy.
Yeah.
But I guess that was all part of the plan when you recommended doing the soil sample,
Right.
figuring out what we were deficient in,
Right.
and then just getting after it. I still got some work to do. Try not to get the garden
Yeah,
or
so
the flower bed, but
This didn't look like this. We're planning to do something in the
Yeah.
spring, Aiden. So,
Yeah.
Aiden want to come up here and do your landscape.
oh yeah.
That's
Well,
what he
so
said.
so Aiden, the true problem is the fact that the way it's graded.
Right.
So we had it looking good, had some shrubs in there, but when it rains, it pools right there. And I just didn't want to take the time to focus on two efforts of trying to do the lawn and trying to do landscaping. So I thought this was probably one of the easier ways to do it. And we'll get after it, but so that water will pool over in that area.
He's talking about this corner
Yeah.
right over there, guys. That corner over there.
So, you see my neighbor, so they got some good stuff going on out here.
Neighbor's crushing it.
Yeah. So
Neighbor is inspiring.
yes,
Let's say.
which we'll talk about again, right? But
Neighbor is inspiring. For sure.
I just didn't want to try to do too much, which
Right.
is probably one of the important things when you make a decision to either do the lawn or do the garden or the flower beds. Which one do you want to tackle first? Which one are you going to be able to put the most effort into at the time? So
Right.
I thought that the lawn would be the easiest, and I come to find out that wasn't the easiest because the flower bed is probably a little less maintenance, but the lawn is definitely enjoyable. And now I don't have to worry about my wife coming out talking about.
How?
Yeah,
look
see,
at
that's
that.
what the view is. Could you
gotta look
imagine
at
coming out? Could you imagine coming out and seeing that
Is
every day?
this- She said, "Is that real grass or artificial turf product?"
Which one?
You talking about this
we
one?
talking about this one or that one?
or this one, Lisa? Because the answer is the same for both.
Yeah, it's just hard work. It's just putting in the time and effort and the energy. So
This is it's real. It's
It is.
real. Let me let you. This is our view. This is his view all
Yeah,
the time. I wish
all
I
the
had
time.
this view all the
it looked
time.
like a golf course, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
it does.
got the double wides, you
Got
know?
the, got
Yeah.
the double wides. The double wides.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna sit down, and we are going to kind of just give Marcus the floor and explain this title as far as the bare minimum. Now, like I said, we've been neighbors for the past 2 years. He already told you that. He was not a long guy, and I don't know if he'd say that he's a long guy now, as you heard him say. He just wanted to have the not worse lawn on the block.
Facts. Facts.
And he was tired of his wife saying, "Oh, his lawn looking real good over there."
Double facts. All in good fun, though, right?
So that's what brought us to here, where we're here with you now. I'll let you explain. You want to explain the title of doing the bare minimum? Because I think you could do it a little better than me.
So I kind of sort of got a problem with the title.
You don't like it, do you?
I do, but I don't.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be 100% right, because it's all about words, right?
Yes.
So when you say the bare minimum,
Right.
it almost comes across like you didn't do anything. Very similar to, I'm gonna use an analogy. Very similar to like owning a car, right?
Okay.
The bare minimum when it comes to owning a car is putting gas in it,
Gas.
changing the oil,
Change the oils.
and making sure that the tires got air in it.
Right.
Like that's the bare minimum for you to be able to get in your car and it get you from point A to point B.
Right.
The more appropriate would be minimal effort.
Minimal effort.
And they sounds very similar,
Very similar.
but they're not. So you are almost at a professional level, right? So
No.
we'll say that you are almost at a professional, or you're very passionate about your craft.
I am
You
very
enjoy what
passionate
you do.
about this.
Very
That's true.
similar to a mechanic or a professional landscaper or someone around the lines, right?
Yeah.
What I am not is a professional.
Lisa, you can do your own lawn and it can look just like this. I promise you. It's super. He's about to break it down for
Yeah.
you right now.
Yes. So
He's going to give you the cheat codes if there are any.
there are cheat codes.
Yeah.
There is a cheat code.
There is a cheat
And when
code.
I tell you the cheat code, you're not gonna like it. But back to talking about the bare minimum,
Okay.
or the bare minimum versus minimal effort. So bare minimum would be me coming out and cutting the grass. We're not edging, we're not treating, we're not blowing the grass off.
Right.
We're just cutting the grass so that it's not very hot, or we're cutting it as low as possible so I don't have to come out here again in a week, right?
Which is what the average homeowner does.
Because it's a chore to them,
Right. It's a chore.
right?
Right.
So if you make it less of a chore and make it fun, then when you come out here and cut, you're like, man, I don't want it to look bad. I don't want it to be low, so I don't have to come out here and do it again in a week.
Right.
I want it to sustain. I want it to look good. But so I like the phrase.
Led. He said, "Go ahead and claim my title, professional."
So I like the phrase minimal effort.
Minimal
Right.
effort. Okay.
Because-
yeah, I should have consulted with you with the title
No.
before.
This ain't my live. This your live. You know what I mean? I'm just an extension. I'm just a willing participant.
Right.
But minimal effort means I understood that what was being done was nothing, and it could be better.
Right.
But I didn't want it to just be better. I wanted it almost to be the best.
Okay.
So I had to put some work into it.
Right.
So I had to get out here. So before I continue, so let me tell you about this guy here. So, do you mind if I share the story about the
The
tiller?
aerator.
Yeah.
The aerator. Yeah. No, go for it.
So-
oh yeah. You tell the whole story
Yeah.
though.
So
From
so-
the top.
Okay. So here's how the aerator story worked. So Rob talked to me probably about a week and a half before it was supposed to happen.
Right.
And he was like, "Hey, if you're serious about getting your lawn done," and this was after we did the soil testing too.
Right.
He was like, "If you're serious about," oh no, we did the soil testing this year.
No, we
it-
did last year.
Was it?
Yeah, we did last year.
Because it was real compact last year, I thought.
We did last year.
We did it? Okay.
Yeah, we did it last year. Well, you know what? I did mine last year.
Yeah.
You did yours this
I think
spring.
I did mine this spring.
Yeah, you did yours this spring.
So Rob was like, "Yo, I'm getting this aerator in about a week and a half. We're gonna do this thing called overseeding, and we really gonna make the lawn look horrible." And I was thinking to myself, like it can look worse. That's what went through my mind. So, you have family in town.
Yep. My parents.
His parents came in town.
Right.
And in my mind, I was like, okay, yeah, we got this planned out for this Sunday, and we're gonna get after it. Well, we decided to sit out here and
do
kick
this.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I kicked it with his parents, and,
Yeah.
and we sat out on the porch, and it was like maybe 2, 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
and
We stayed up late that night.
we stayed up late,
It was a good night though.
and we had a little bit stronger than this,
right.
right?
Just a tea.
Just a little bit stronger than that.
Just a tea.
And I went to bed, and I would like to say that I was probably inebriated,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit inebriated,
Just a little
right?
bit. Yeah.
So I woke up the next morning, in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not doing this. I looked outside the front view, didn't see him out yet, and I was like, yes, we're not doing this, right? Then probably about 13, 14 seconds later, his garage door comes out. He comes out chipper, like he was not at the same spot that I was at the night before, right? And then he pulls out the equipment. They went to go get it, and then comes back with it, and he offloaded, and then he's cutting his grass, which I was supposed to do, right? And I was sitting there, and this joker,
I remember it.
you want to talk about consulting with somebody. This joker, what he should have did was been like, yo, we still good for today? Before. Not Rob. He brings the aerator over and sets it in my driveway.
Right there. Dropped it off.
In my driveway, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, nah, bruh, I'm really not there. But I couldn't aerate because I hadn't cut the grass. So I had to cut the grass. Twice.
Twice.
And I had to bag it.
And you
Oh,
had to
it was
bag it.
it was the worst experience ever. So that's why I'm saying there's a difference between minimal effort and minimum effort.
Yes.
Minimum effort would have been,
I ain't doing none of that.
I ain't doing none of that.
Right.
I'm just going to continue to cut. You can throw these seeds down. If they catch, they catch.
If they don't,
If they don't,
oh well.
oh well. But I'm not doing this. But nah, not Rob. He set that joint right in front of my yard, and Smooth walked off. Smooth walked off.
Sure did.
He didn't say anything.
Nope. Didn't say a thing. 'Cause I was on to the next checklist.
Right, because
I had a time hack. I was knocking stuff out.
you knew what you was doing.
I did.
He knew what he
I
was
kind
doing.
of did. Like I did a lot of research.
Yeah, but you knew what your agenda was for that day.
I did. That's
I
true.
didn't quite understand what the agenda was, and I quickly found out what the agenda was, and it was, to say the least, it was a pretty challenging first 20 minutes because I really didn't want to be out there.
Right.
But that kind of sort of goes back to gardening. That goes back to landscaping. That goes back to almost anything in life.
Yep.
If you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it.
Nope.
And if you don't do it,
It
you
ain't gonna
can't sit around and complain about the fact that it's not done.
Facts.
Or, which goes back to the whole magic dust that in one of your videos.
Yeah,
or the magic. So the magic word, the magic potion formula is just work. You have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, then you're not going to get any of the results. So, yeah, but back to the story. So
Right.
he gave me the aerator, and, you know, the whole time I'm out there pushing, bruh, I was so mad at you, man.
He was mad.
I was so mad.
Like, he
And
was
then
clean hot. I could tell. Like he looked at me like,
And
"We
I was
doing this?
I was
still?"
like, we really doing this? And then I looked over, his pops was sitting out on the porch, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, so you got your dad out here. He looked like he chipper.
Yeah, he watching.
Like,
Cigar in hand.
yeah, I couldn't see, but it
He just
almost looked like
smiling.
he was twiddling some wood or something. Just kind of like laughing at me.
He
You know what I
probably
mean?
was.
You know,
Yeah, because he
but-
watched me do all that work too.
Yeah.
He did not help.
at all.
And I didn't ask him for his help
Yeah.
either. Yeah.
And then you didn't even come over there and tell me how to use the thing.
I sure did. You actually called me back and like,
Yeah.
yo, you ain't gonna show me how to use it? Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah, you ain't show me how to use it, but then I figured it out, and then it kind of sort of, it worked out good, even though that was a horrible day in the sense of I really didn't want to do the work, right?
Right.
But that's everything in life. If
Right.
you don't want to do the work, then you're not going to get results, and if you don't get the results, then it's because you didn't put in the work.
Been putting in
So,
work.
But yeah, so yeah, that's how that went. That's why it's not minimum. It's not the bare minimum.
Nah,
It's minimal effort. I'm not a professional. This is not something that I would do outside of my normal profession, but it is very enjoyable. There's no instant gratification.
when did it become enjoyable for you though? When did you really start having a good time with what you were doing?
You really gonna ask me that on camera?
Yeah.
Like, you gonna ask me?
Yeah,
So-
put you on the spot.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's never been enjoyable.
Never been enjoyable.
It's never been enjoyable.
Okay.
In the sense that I can't wait to get up and cut the grass.
Cause you see the eagerness when I come
Yeah.
home from work.
Yes.
And I'll be
Yes.
like, yo, I'm about to mow this grass.
Yeah.
He's like,
No,
you about to mow?
at
I was just
lunch.
like, yes.
At lunch,
Out
he'll
cutting-
stop, grab the mail, and then he'll pull into the driveway.
Check the plants.
Pull out the lawnmower, get a quick cut in, blow it, put it up, and then
Go back to work.
go back to work. So
Feeling good.
It's not enjoyable to that level for me.
Right.
I do enjoy myself when I'm out here because it is a piece of quiet,
Right.
a peace of mind. There's nobody bothering you. Everything that you do is yours. So if I mess up the edge, I can't be mad at anybody but me.
That's right.
If I cut it too low because I don't check the length of the cut,
Right.
that's on me. So,
Right.
enjoyable, I do enjoy it,
Mhm.
but not to that same level.
Right.
I'm not at that point to where I can't wait to get off work because I'm going to go out here and put these stripes in this lawn.
Right.
But when I'm out there, once I fire it up and I'm out there,
And you look back and you
I
see
look
the
back, yeah,
results.
I'll be like, okay, it was worth it.
Right.
You know, it was worth it, which goes to what you talked about the training. You know, the if you put in the time, if you put in the effort, and if you want to see results,
Right.
you will see results.
Yeah.
If you want instant results, lawn care and gardening might not be the job for you.
It's not for you.
Yeah, you might want to become like a person who sets off fireworks or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's actually pretty good. That sounds like a pretty cool job.
Nah. Nah. I don't think there's a long enough string for me to get away
Well, that
from
goes
it. Yeah.
along. That goes along with me. Yes, I call it my quiet time when I cut the grass. That's right, Grace. You said turf helped me without coming. I had weeds. LOL. Love notes. Yeah, you got your lawn together. So the secret's out. Rob isn't the B-roll master at all. Haha. Aiden, you know that that's not true at all. But you said go ahead and claim my title. The professional. All right, lad, I'll claim it. The professional. Yeah. So what have you been doing? What have you been doing? What things did you learn that you didn't know before that has made you successful this past year? How have we been able to talk? And I'm gonna put up on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, I'm on Instagram. It's Turf Therapy. I'm gonna have before and after pictures of his lawn,
Ooh.
just like I put up the before and after pictures of what this looked like. I put that up like a couple days ago, and it's a night and day difference within a year. But what were the things that you did that we call not minimal effort, but minimum effort that got you to this level of success right now and still striding?
So that was a lot. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned through this process is patience.
Patience. I say, yeah, that should probably be number one.
That should be the first thing that you learn about lawn care, gardening. You guys will see me out there. I'm gonna start growing my own stuff once we move, but patience and not afraid to make a mistake.
You say growing yourself like your own garden?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
That's
I mean,
what's up.
man, them tomatoes you gave me, them cucumbers you gave me, the okra though,
The okra.
and the greens. So, can I digress a little bit?
Yeah, the collards back
Yeah.
here.
So, I love greens,
Collards.
especially some collards.
Yeah.
And I'll make them without meat. Sometimes we'll make them with meat, but I prefer them without meat.
Hey, Bettina.
So Rob-
I'm gonna get to that as soon as he gets done.
Okay, sorry, I'll make it quick. So Rob shared with me some of his collards, right? And then you gave me the
Beet tops.
beet top.
I said, what I tell you to do? Just chop them up,
He said just chop them up and
Throw
put them
'em
in
in
there. And
cook them down just like the collards.
and when I made them, and I didn't want to ruin the flavor of it too much, so I didn't want to put my traditional smoked turkey neck or turkey tails. I didn't want to use that because I didn't
Right.
want to kill the flavor of the greens.
Right.
But those beet tops and those greens, oh, whew.
Grow your own, eat your own.
Yeah,
people.
grow your own, eat your own.
Hey, the
So,
king is in the building right now, Laird Farmer.
yeah, so that was a very a good. But you asked, what was the thing that I've learned is that you got to have a little bit of patience. You can't expect overnight success.
No.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Facts.
Right? Everybody would have a greenest lawn because it's easy. And then two, it's okay to reach out and ask somebody when you don't know.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
So, you guys, first time y'all have ever met me, I work on computers. I've been working on computers for the last 20 plus years, right? I could probably break down a computer and put it together rather quickly. It's not Rob's forte,
Nah.
right? So if Rob needs something regarding computers or electronics, he can reach out to me and ask me. And that's what I've learned through your community is maybe Rob doesn't have the answer.
Nah. I don't have all of them.
And maybe
Especially we talking about gardening.
I shouldn't always want to go to Rob for the answer.
Sure shouldn't.
Maybe I should
Hey, Dolores and Tony.
Maybe I should go out and look myself first, and then when I'm stumped, come back and be like, yo, Rob, this is what I kind of sort of saw.
Right.
Not quite understanding this 16, and I still don't got it. That 1602, I don't know where the potassium is, don't know where the nitrogen is, but it's on the bag. I mean, all I got to do is really, look at it. But so I think that those are the two things that I've learned the most.
Read the label.
We're not going to talk about that.
Read the label.
all right,
Let me get after this real quick.
Okay, yeah, go
Bettina,
ahead. My
you
bad.
said, Bettina Morgan, you said, so soil sample, overseed, aerate. Now, I assume that you mean, is that the minimum? Is that the minimum? No, that's not the minimum, but that is a good step. So that soil sample, what it's going to do is, one, if you live in an area that has like baywise, water conservations, like you just don't want to go throwing out phosphorus, particularly when your lawn doesn't need it. There are some areas like, I think Gigi, she did her soil test and she saw that I think they were adequate in phosphorus. So if you have plenty of phosphorus already, you don't need to go and throw down more phosphorus. And then in some states like Maryland, it's actually illegal for you to apply phosphorus without doing that soil test first. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to do that soil test so you know how to properly feed your lawn. That's your first step. After that, then yes, you're going to want to do an aerate. Aeration is great. Is it necessary? No, you could get away without doing it, but I'll tell you, you'll have better success if you do, especially if you're dealing with compaction. And then the overseed, yes, you want to overseed, and not just overseed with any seed. I must stress that.
Please don't.
You'd be better off spending a couple extra bucks in the front. And especially if success looks something like this to you or his over there. Now, if success doesn't look like this and it looks more like just a green lawn that's not the worst on the block, I say go for it. Buy the closest thing on the shelf, and don't even worry about what the back of the bag says. But if that's not you, and you want a somewhat stand of turf that's not going to introduce a whole bunch of different weeds that are going to be an eyesore down the line, then I encourage you to spend the extra couple dollars on the front end and buy a quality seed that when you read the back of it, the other crop says 0.0%, and the weed seed or noxious weed seed definitely says 0.0%. You can get away with other crop seed and still come out with a very good looking lawn. Prime example, this right here, the seed that I used had a little bit of other crop in there, and it just means that it's not the grass that they're labeled for. But seeds, I mean, Kentucky bluegrass seed is tiny. The Kentucky bluegrass seed, compare that to like a lettuce seed for my gardeners in the building. If you've ever you sowed you some lettuce seeds, that's how small a Kentucky bluegrass seed. So it's kind of hard to keep those things from getting contaminated sometimes without spending a lot of extra money. And then after you do those steps, then that's when the cultural practices set in. And just like in my last video last week when I said, hey, if you're in an area like me, it's getting a little chilly outside. It's not really raining that much, but it's not that hot, and you don't think that your lawn still needs water, you're joking. You know what I mean? Like, do you get thirsty when it's cold outside? Mm-hmm. You daggone do. Matter of fact, we have the most dehydration casualties during the winter because people feel like they don't need to drink as many fluids. So your lawn still needs water just like your garden, and your plant still needs water. And those cultural practices are mow your lawn at the appropriate height for that grass type. Now, if you're a cool season lawn, there's some flexibility unless it's turf type tall fescue. Turf type tall fescue doesn't really want to go below 2.5 inches. Perennial ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass, you can take those down to an inch, inch and a half. I've seen people go lower. If you're just getting started, I wouldn't go lower. Get your feet wet first. And then turf type tall fescue is in the name. It likes to be cut tall. So all you got to do is jack your mower up all the way to the top. He'd experienced it, and he's like, jack it all the way up? And I was like, yeah, just jack it all the way. I was like, I don't know about that. And then, boom, this is what we got today, right? So it likes to be cut high, and what you're doing is allowing it to shade out that soil so it can hold that moisture. So you're going to mow often as possible. I don't care if you don't think that you're cutting anything off of it. You're going to make sure you're getting 1.5 inches of water per week, and then you're going to feed your landscape, your soil. You're going to feed it in accordance with that soil test. And that is the minimum stuff that you need to do to reach a level of what he's attained over there.
So that's a perfect example of minimal effort.
Right.
Because there's more that you can do.
Oh, there's definitely
right?
a lot more.
There's more that you can do.
I do a lot more than that.
You do a lot more.
Right.
And I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it to that extent in order to get good results, right? But that whole soil test, and you spoke about something. You said good seed. You remember that conversation that we had?
Son Moses, I want to hit him real quick.
Yeah.
Son Moses, if you got 3 acres of heavily peppered with weeds, what can you do? I say that you carve out about 10,000 square feet of that, and make that your lawn, and then the rest of that, you should plant stuff that you can actually eat. That's what I recommend to you. Plant stuff that you can turn into a garden, a field, maybe put some crop covers in there. Do something that's going to introduce pollinators into your area, because even if you're not growing, it's going to help out the farmers locally. Me, myself, I would not try to maintain 3 acres of grass. But if you really want to do that, you need to go check out my dude, Kenny Cooper. Kenny Cooper has about 3 acres or something like that. And you'll see how much work that is. And you can ask yourself if you're really prepared to do that kind of work. Me, I'm not interested in that. I don't want any more than about 10, maybe 20,000 square feet of lawn. The rest of my lawn, if I have that much land, is going to be stuff that I can eat. That's my recommendation to you, Son Moses.
You're talking about like a mowable lawn.
Yeah.
So you're looking at like a quarter of an acre of usable, cuttable,
mowable
lawn.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's it.
I don't.
Everything else, we're going to have collards,
Right.
beets, radishes, lettuce. I love my lawn. My lawn is my first love. And I like this look. Like, I like pulling up to something like this. And you can have both if you're into it. Now, if you're not into lawn, then whatever. Don't worry about it. But I wouldn't recommend trying to maintain 3 acres of the amount of the equipment that you need to get is insane. And to be honest, I wouldn't plant the rest of that land all at once either, because the amount of equipment that you need to maintain that much land when it comes to food, edibles, that's a lot of work, bro. So I would say, leave it to the environment. Introduce things that are going to bring things into your area that you need, bees, butterflies, whatever. Give back to the earth. Just try to correct what we've done as far as humans. I would try to undo some of that work. I wouldn't try to do 3 acres. But if you want to, first stop, you need to go check out Kenny Cooper. He has plenty of land and he puts a lot of work in.
It's a lot of yard.
That's a lot of yard, man.
That's a lot of yard.
I'm not interested in that, though. Yeah.
I think the biggest yard I had was, I think it was like 100 by 50.
Hey, Shirley. So I'm halfway through, Shirley, with the Master Gardeners class. That's what's up. Congratulations. Did you complete your hours yet, Shirley, with the Master Gardeners program? Pretty garden turf. Thank you, Erica. All right, now I'm done. I digress. I'd be happy with 1 acre of turf. Bro, that's too much for me, too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that much.
I mean,
don't
that's
want
a
that
full-time job.
That's
Now
a lot
you-
of work. Like, this is fun because
Small.
it's small.
Yeah.
I can get after my garden.
Manageable. Yep.
I can get after the lawn. I'm not losing on either front. This is a nice size. I think 10,000 square feet, 20, that'd be enough. Especially if I had a rider. I'd have to have a rider
You'd have to
mower
have
at
a
that
rider.
point.
Because at no point, I mean, I couldn't drive by your house and see you out there with a push lawnmower
Heck no.
on
I'm
10,000 square feet.
I'm not doing that. No, the yard wouldn't get cut.
You would be
So-
on TMZ. I would be you or WorldStar. I would be.
How can you sign up for a Master Gardeners class? So you can go to, just look up your local county extension office, go to their website, and they have Master Gardeners course. So what you're going to learn in there is things like native plants, invasive plants. Do you need to go to a Master Gardeners course to be a successful gardener? No, you do not. But the main reason why I wanted to go is because by nature, I'm just interested in everything. Like, I like to tweak, fiddle. I like to learn as much as possible. Like, that's in my nature. And the best thing about it, I'm sure, what's her name? Shirley can attest. You get plugged in. You instantly get plugged in with this network of gardeners that have things that you can't find on the shelves anymore. They have 30, 40 years of experience right there in your community, though. That's what's like, it's cool to go on YouTube and find these people growing things in different zones, but they're not in your area. These people are in your area. They can tell you when the cucumber beetle is now in your area, or the new invasive stink bug, or, the Harley Quinn beetle. Like, you're not going to get that type of information from YouTube usually, because to be honest, people don't have that kind of attention span in videos to even follow through on all of that kind of information. So I think the biggest benefit of going through the Master Gardeners class is plugging in with like-minded people that have experience in your area. Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
And Miss Shirley, so I would like to say congratulations. You in Ohio though. What about them Buckeyes? Am I allowed to say that on?
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
You know what I mean?
What about the Buckeyes?
What about them Buckeyes? So
Yeah. How you feel about sea kelp and humic acid for improving your soil? I think DJ OJ Smooth. I think that everything has at a point you have diminishing returns. Is it good? Yes. Should it have a place in every lawn care program? Absolutely. It's organic material. OM. You're introducing more OM. Is it going to be the magic dust that makes your lawn amazing? No. It's just alone? No. You know what it is, though? You can omit that stuff and do the basics. Like him, he's never gotten any humic over there. Not a drop.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't even know what that is?
I thought you said humor. So I thought you said, can you inject some humor acid? And I'm like, I've never heard of that, but that sounds like it could be, worth a shot. Let me
He's
look that
got
up real quick.
he's gotten
Humor acid.
he's gotten your standard fertilizers over there, and the only thing that he's been doing has been making sure that he feeds his lawn appropriately. He mows it and he waters it.
Yeah.
And we aerate it, and guess what? He can stick the thing in the soil now. It was super compact. We could not do that last year.
I could barely get the soil sample.
We could barely get the soil sample last year.
We could barely get that. And that was
I had to use
use the hammer.
Yeah, we was using the hammer and the mallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that for a lawn care enthusiast that wants to do the extra steps like me, it has a place. Is it the magic dust, like Say alluded to in a video? And we're going back to Say's next week, by the way.
How's he doing?
No. Oh, he's doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, I can't
He's
wait
got
to
the same seed you got.
Did he?
Yeah.
I can't wait to... So can we let's talk about that.
What? The seed?
Let's talk about the seed.
Okay.
Right? So I've been fortunate enough to be across the street from a great neighbor who has a network and access to some of the better products.
Yes.
I'm not going to have that availability when I move.
You won't.
Right? I may be able to still reach out to you, but I'm not going to be able to walk over and be like, yo, Rob, we putting down some seed this one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how do I find good quality seed inside a big box store?
So the first step, I'm going to go grab a bag of seed.
Okay. And while he's grabbing the bag of seed, I'm going to sit here and, keep you guys entertained. So I will say, one thing that I will say about working with Rob is very non-judgmental. There were times where I would come out and I didn't want to cut, but I would see Rob over cutting, and he would knock on my door and be like, yo, you're not cutting today? Or he would knock on my door and be like, hey, you're not watering today? Or, you're not going to do anything else. It was more of a, if you do it, you do. If you do, I'm happy that you're doing. But if you don't do it,
That's your lawn.
So instead of your loss, that's your lawn, right?
That's your lawn.
That's your lawn. You know what I mean? So everything that you're going to get out of what you put into it. So.
You're the one who was struggling with the night before stuff, and if you put all that work in, that aerating, that overseeding, and you're not going to do the most important part, which is the cultural practices, that's on you.
Then all of that was for me.
All that was for nothing on you. It's not like I pushed the
yeah,
aerator for you.
yeah,
You did
true.
that, you know?
Yeah. And that's another thing. So you start putting in your own blood, your own sweat and tears.
You feel different about it.
You do.
Yeah.
You appreciate it more.
So I got 2 bags of seed right here. I got one from a big box store. I used this seed. This is the Pennington that I had in that Watch Grass Grow video when I had 3 of them head to head. I had this, the Turfman, and the Easy Scots, the Easy Seed from Scots. And I just want to show you the back of these layers. So I got this seed right here, and then I got the Hancock, right? Let me get closer to the camera so you can see this, and I hope you can see it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just come over here so I know you can see it. So when you go into the store and you're looking at the back of the seed, right? This is what you're gonna wanna look for, right? So I have my different types of seed that's in here. We got fescue, 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 and then we got another fescue, okay? That's all fescue, cool. So we got a whole bunch of fescue here in this bag. You got your different percentages, but you're gonna wanna come to this section right here, this other crop seed. We got a 0.20%, which actually isn't a bad thing. Like I said, the seed that I put out here on this lawn had other crop seed in it. This is the section right here, this noxious weed seed. You want that to say none or 0%. That's your first step. Weed seed, a little bit of weed seed, it ain't gonna hurt. Matter of fact, when you're getting out of a big box store, you're always, probably almost always, going to have a little bit of other crop seed and a little bit of weed seed. But you want to make sure it has no noxious weed seed. That's the first step. Now, when you go to a place that is more so like a boutique type of seed place, This is Hancock seed, right? This is the Hancock seed. And on here, we got noxious weed, we got none, right? Crop seed, we got none. Weed seed, none. This is clean seed. Clean seed. Now, so as long as when you go in the store and you remember that at the minimum, that was Pac, right?
That was Pop.
That was
You see the bob.
yeah, he was bobbing his head too.
That's
All right,
Pop,
so
yeah.
so as long as the noxious weed is 0%, I'd say you're in good hands. If you just want the not worst long on the block, that's going to cut the mustard for you.
You know what's funny about that comment too, though? Is good seed may cost you, like if you look at it from an economic standpoint, that's how most people look at things. When they go get the lawnmower, they're getting not the cheapest, not the most expensive, and if they can stay away from the middle, they're going to get as close to the least expensive as possible.
Right.
Right. But what you reminded me last year when we first started this process was, you can go and spend $40 on good seed and $0 on weed eradicators,
Right.
or you can spend $20 on your traditional seed and $40, $50 or whatever the number is for the weed killer, and then you still don't have a product ready for you now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You end up
You spend more time, more money, more energy to undo what you didn't even have to do from the get-go. So that's one of the other things that I've learned is spend the money up front. If you care about it, if you want it to be successful, then put a little bit of money into it, or a little bit of an investment, whether that's time,
Right.
energy, or whatever, and then you'll reap. You will always reap what you sow.
right.
So
That's like for my canners out there. Why do we buy all American canners? Because of the quality, right? You can get the cheaper canner, but now you got to worry about swapping out the parts down the road. You need new gaskets. You gotta fiddle with it, this and that. You pay that extra money for the All American because it's reliable, and you're not going to have a lot of things to worry about down the road. You don't have to worry about replacing gauges and all this extra stuff on it. So you pay that price up front to save yourself time, heartache, and pain on the long run.
right.
One more question. Have you had any experience with biochar for soil enhancement? Listen, everything that I put on my lawn, when I run mostly Carbonex products when it comes to granular, and that all has biochar in it. And I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you this. You see it?
It's work.
And my OM, my soil test is beautiful. I have beautiful soil out here. Matter of fact, when I was starting my journey and I went to the extension of, you go dig deep in the archive of videos, when I took samples of my soil up to the extension office, the first thing the, gosh, I can't think of what his title is right now, but Andy, the first thing Andy asked me, he said, what are you doing to your soil? Because your soil is amazing. So those Carbonex products have biochar in them, chicken salad, right? If you don't know what chicken salad is, it's chicken poop. It's chicken poop.
Guess I don't want no chicken salad no more.
Nah, you don't want no chicken salad. No, not that chicken salad anyway. Got the chicken salad in it, and then it has your nutrients, these homogeneous prills that are balanced with your nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, depending on the rate and the blend of what you're dealing with or what you bought from the Carbon Earth line. So I really like the Carbon Earth line. It's a bit pricey, it is, but you're getting a lot. And when you do the math that you can easily execute, if you got the Turf Therapy app, you do the math long run, the amount of stuff that you get in that bag with those homogeneous prills, it really kind of balances itself out. So again, we talk about you spend the money up front to not have to buy all these different separate products.
Different separate products.
Right.
Different rates of
Humic acid.
yeah, you know.
And this and that.
And then you gotta go and get the app, and then you gotta figure out how much you need to put down, and you got to remember that you already put some down because it was a little bit was in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're spending the same money, if not a little bit more, by separating it.
Right. So that's what I give you, DJ. Hope that helps. You said thanks. Okay, cool. Yep. So that's where I'm at with it. I mean, my lawn looks great. I'm not a scientist. I'm fallible. I make mistakes, but I can tell you my lawn looks amazing right now.
Yeah.
And it has for the past year.
So you asked me a couple of questions. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
All right. So when you first started this, you had a line down the middle of your lawn,
I did.
and you go back and your family will go back and look at other videos, and they'll see that you called it the line of domination,
I did.
right? And what I'm getting to is the growth here, right? So it went from the line of domination, and I don't know if he got tired of hearing it or tired of saying it. I think it was more just to be funny at first,
Right.
right?
Well, it's because of Alan Hain. That's his thing.
Okay.
Alan
Okay.
Hain, he says line of domination, throw her down.
Oh, God.
And I got a lot of my
Okay.
first leg runnings from him.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it makes sense. So it
Right.
wasn't just empty words, right?
Nah, they weren't empty words.
But then it moved to
And he means that in the most playful way.
right.
It's not. To
So
be
now
like
that I know
obnoxious
the
thing.
backstory, then I know that you weren't being. But I didn't know that.
Right.
So because
Now
I didn't
you-
know that, I need to not know it for the rest of the story.
Okay. All
Right.
Cool.
All right. So then I don't know if when you made that transition, you made the transition to line of motivation.
Right.
You remember that moment?
Yeah.
Right. It went from domination to motivation because that was when
Inspiration.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
When-
Okay. Yeah.
Not there yet.
Right.
And it went to motivation because then I started participating.
Right.
Right. And I did it because I was motivated
Right.
to do it.
Right.
And then you move to line of inspiration,
Right.
which truly shows your growth. Right. So at first it was almost like I'm bragging.
Right.
Like I'm out here, I'm out here doing what y'all can't do.
Dominating
y'all. And then you kind of sort of took a step back and was like, you know what? It has to be less about domination. Now it has to be more about motivating people. And now you're at the spot to where if I motivate you, that's cool.
Right.
But what I really want you to do is inspire you.
Right.
Not to inspire you to get out here and make a perfect lawn. Not to inspire you to get out here and make the perfect garden.
Nope.
But inspire you to get out here and do whatever it is that you want to do.
Facts.
Right? So I could be the worst driver ever. And then get in the car with, one of the best NASCAR drivers, right?
Right.
He's going to dominate me. But he's also going to motivate me to want to do better.
Right.
Right? But then at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, you know what? Maybe race car driving really isn't for me. Because I really don't like going that fast, going in them circles. I'm getting old, going too fast.
Yeah.
And then I take that same energy and be like, well, maybe I don't want to be a race car driver, but maybe I want to be a truck driver.
Right.
Now I'm inspired that if you go out there and just try to do something,
Right.
you can get something in return. So
Right.
that I like the growth.
Yeah.
Domination.
Oh, so that wasn't a
motivation.
question.
No, it wasn't really. It wasn't really.
I was waiting to answer.
But so I guess if
But
it
no,
was
you
a-
mapped it out perfect
Yeah.
though. Like that's how that happened. Like
Yeah.
I know
Accidental.
that term domination it's not meant to come across like the jerk who's bragging or
Right.
anything like that. But as you said, I think it was perfect. As I grew,
Yeah.
it turned into like this motivational
Right.
type thing. I'm motivated to get out here and get after it. And then really when I fell on inspiration, it just seemed so right when I said it.
Yeah.
And I was getting so much. You guys are awesome, first of all.
You are.
You
Great-
supporters
great
out there.
community.
And you guys kept saying, you've inspired me to start a garden. Like lawn care people starting gardens and gardening people starting to take care of their lawns.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd almost always have the word inspire in there. And I was really uncomfortable with that initially. And then I thought about it and I was like, why am I uncomfortable with this? Like I should be happy that I'm inspiring people. And it really all set in when I went down and I visited my brother. And, I saw him out there and I saw him eager to get his garden going. And then we did it. And not only did we do it, he like really digs it. Like I could tell
I could tell last week.
that he
I
is.
could tell last week that
He's about to like be teaching me stuff here soon. He's really into it. So I felt like Line of Inspiration was the perfect thing to like. It just fit me and
It
fit
worked.
the channel well.
It goes back to you had walked away, but it was like non-judgmental.
Right.
It goes back to the character that you are. And inspiration is a very strong word,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
Because you ask yourself, you'd be like, what am I inspired by? What am I inspired for? What am I doing that's any different than what you can see out there?
Right.
Right? But a lot of it has to do with your personality, your willingness, your eagerness, the fact that you enjoy what you do, which is infectious. So when you see somebody who enjoys something that they do, you can't help but tune in a little bit, and you can be like, man, if I could just put in the minimal effort, I could almost be as good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you mentioned about Malik, in his mind, he probably already knew that he could do this.
Yeah.
He just needed to be motivated. He didn't need inspiration from you. He needed
Right.
to be motivated.
Right.
Right. And then now he's inspired to take it a little bit further. You know what
He
I mean?
is.
So
He is, and he's going to.
and he's going to.
He's got big
Right.
plans.
Yeah, no.
And I've said, yo, you should probably take it slow. And he's like, nah, I'm going all
Nah.
in.
Nah. So
He's
you
like, I'm
can
going
take it
all-
slow, right?
I'm going all in.
You could take it slow. I'm taking it slow. But again, this isn't me. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy a nice lawn.
Yeah, yeah,
At
yeah.
the beginning of it, that's what it was a
Right.
nice lawn.
Right.
And then you started giving me vegetables. And then you let the kids come over and pick cucamelons. And then it was like,
And them cucamelons was good.
oh, man.
Gosh, I miss those cucamelons.
So then it was like, well, I'm tired of y'all going over there to my neighbor's house and getting his stuff, you know. But I can't.
It was like them ribs I dropped off the first time, and I thought we was about to fight.
So, can we talk about that?
yeah, I'm gonna grab a jacket
Yeah.
though. I'm a little tipsy.
You are a little chilly. I'm gonna wait till you come back to talk about that story because it's the truth. It's truth in lending. But back to the motivation or the domination, motivation, and inspiration. I guess in order to get people to really come around and understand what it is that you really want to say, maybe you do have to be a little bit forceful, or maybe you have to be forceful in order for you to push yourself. So maybe that line of domination is more about you pushing yourself and wanting to get out there and do it, and less about those that you are dominating.
Yeah, that win.
Yeah, and then the motivation usually
win
comes
was getting
from
me.
the other parts, the people who see what you do, the people who see your success, and then that inspiration is once you're done talking about it, they're still continuing. That's when you really know that you've inspired someone. Please, is when I'm no longer your neighbor, and I still hit you up and be like, "Yo, Rob, you're not gonna believe." I actually dug up the ground. Hey, how you doing? I actually dug up the ground and planted a watermelon. And like this is the biggest seeded watermelon I've ever had in my life. That's when you really will know what your impact has been.
Yo, my brother, when he cracked open that watermelon,
Oh yeah, I saw that. Why was it so red though?
because it was real.
Oh,
That's
my
why. It
God.
was real.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
It
think I
was-
missed a question earlier
Uh-oh.
too. Grace, what is your favorite carbon earth product? By hand, 818. 818. And the reason why I love 818 is because that those prills are super small. That's the real small black bead stuff I've given you before.
That stinky stuff?
I mean, yeah, it's chicken manure, bro.
Oh,
So-
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, it's got chicken manure. The way he puts his biochar together, it's you can go check him out. He'll give you all the science.
It's
on it.
obviously it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
But
good.
818 because it's that greens grade prills, spreads really even, pretty well balanced, especially if you don't need a lot of phosphorus, and really easy to spoon feed with it as well. 818 goes real far too.
Yeah.
And then what's up, Turf from Charleston? Hey, Lamont, what's going on? Lamont, I feel like I know you. Lamont, do I know you, Lamont? Lamont from Charleston? It seems like a name and a place that I would know you. That is so true.
It's a common name, right?
Right? Yeah.
Be like, yo, you know Lamont?
You know?
Oh yeah, I know Lamont. Yeah.
Lamont from where? From 20th and East? Yeah.
No. Lamont from Detroit.
From Detroit. Oh,
Detroit,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
shot-
Detroit. Yeah. Nah, I don't know that Lamont.
Nah, I don't know that Lamont.
Nah.
But I know the Lamont from up the corner who can get you some chips, get you
Yeah.
a laumor or something.
Yeah, let's get on these ribs now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's get back to that story.
Yeah,
So-
these ribs.
So everything bad is not necessarily bad, right? So I like to cook, and I think that I'm a fairly good cook, right? And then Rob, he cooks and dabbles and whatever you want to call what he provides, right? So I've never really smoked uh, meat. I've done it before, and I always overdo it. And the reason I would overdo it is because I wanted to see a lot of smoke. I wanted to see so much smoke that the people down the street would know that I was smoking. And then I would take that nasty food and put it on a plate in front of my family, and they would look at it and cut it or whatever. So Rob told me one day, we were talking, he was like, yeah, man, he was like, I'm about to throw these ribs down. And he dropped them off. I wasn't home. And he rang the doorbell and shared them with the family. And, they were like, oh, man, those were some really good ribs. And I was like, how good? Like, you don't ever want me to cook ribs good, or like you just saying that because they were like, no, those are really good. So I come outside and he's outside and I'm like, hey, bruh, hey, with those ribs though. And I didn't notice at the time, but I think Rob thought we were gonna fight.
I thought I was about to have to fight my neighbor for real.
He thought it was gonna be a problem because he won up.
What'd you say?
Me.
You said, hey man, don't you ever.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Ever.
I said, don't you ever
bring no ribs to my house ever again. His face was so serious too.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I about to have to fight my neighbor?
Be like,
I was like, I really don't want to do this, but I mean, I guess
it's gonna be a long couple of years if we're gonna have to fight over some ribs.
To fight over some ribs? Yeah. Okay, all right, cool.
But that was my way of, I don't want to say pay homage, but that was my way of saying thank you without saying thank you. Because I don't think we had gotten to that space. I mean, we were cool.
Yeah, we was cool.
Yeah, we were cool, but I don't think you knew my personality as much as you do now. So if I was to say it now, you waiting for a compliment. You already know what's coming with it.
Right.
And then so, we won up.
That was like the icebreaker, really.
It worked.
That's really when we started loosening up with each other.
Yeah, and it was like, and then dependable, reliable. So since we're talking about food, did you?
Oh, that shrimp and grits, smacks. He dropped those. So now we have like these like little low key,
not competitions,
inspiration
extensions of competition.
Yeah, they competitions. Anyway, he'll throw me something, and I'll throw something back. He's probably about like he's got 4 of my own right now because when I eat. I'm usually, when I cook for me and the wife. I haven't put together a big meal in a while. And the last time I did put together a big meal, I had family here, and we straight crushed the collards, and there was really nothing left to take over there. So good neighbors, man. Hard to find, far and few in between. I really think that this all happened for a reason. It was no mistake that we ended up being neighbors. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have planned it any more perfect. I mean, you could have been just a guy across the street,
right?
You know what I mean,
right?
Because you deal with those type of neighbors,
right?
You're fortunate that you're surrounded by people who you don't necessarily have have to have the same interests, but there's a common and mutual respect, and then it helps when you can get along or you can share. And I think that one of the best ways to share time with people anyway is with food.
Yeah,
food, some drinks. Or even just a good laugh. So,
right.
Yeah, you're right. No, none of it was on purpose. But you were getting ready to tell a story. You were talking about the ribs, and I thought you were getting ready to go somewhere else with it. You were talking about how I was up for.
Oh yeah. He's up 4-0. I mean, he's been.
Yeah.
He actually inspired me to get back on my smoker this year. See how that flipped? Because you was dumping things down on my door, and I was like, man.
Ooh,
and Quita was like, oh yeah, them oxtails.
Oxtails.
He does these smoked oxtails that are out of this world. And to this day, I still haven't smoked. You know when someone cooks something so good, you just don't even try to cook it yourself? That's where I'm at with these smoked oxtails. Like my wife, she does a real good lasagna. So good, I have no intentions of ever learning how to make a lasagna because it's that good. So... he definitely, it goes both ways. So that inspiration flows both ways. And I hadn't been on my smoker in like 8 months.
Yo, the season don't stop for me though.
maybe longer because I was so consumed with the lawn
right.
and the garden,
Yeah.
and I just didn't make time for it. And luckily this season, I mean, the wife, she got the master built smoker, which makes it a lot easier, which is freaking, that thing is wet. If you want a smoker, best value smoker for the price, Master Build and Master Chief, that Gravity series with the stack on the side is phenomenal. I've done like 7 cooks on it so far. Brisket came out perfect. Ribs came out perfect. Pulled pork came out perfect. Steaks, and you can crank it up to like 600 or 700 degrees, something
Sear
crazy
marks.
like that.
Yeah.
Sear, talking about searing the steak. I did one like Thursday, Friday. Matter of fact, I got a ribeye in the fridge. And we going to make salads. You wanted some lettuce, right? I'm gonna crack you off a couple heads tomorrow and bring it
I
to
will.
you.
That'll work.
Yeah.
I'm really waiting for these collards though. 'Cause,
Yeah,
you know,
we patient. Look at them.
Yeah,
They bouncing
I
back.
know.
Yeah.
You know, holidays coming around. You know.
Yeah.
And I told you I'm doing it different this year.
You said let me know when lasagna night is. You say you doing it different this year?
I'm doing it different this year. So normally I do it big for Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
I normally do a lot of cooking: turkey, ham,
Right.
greens. And by the way, I don't really care for turkey.
Right.
I like to thank my mother for that. It was always dry. There was never enough gravy.
Don't do mama like that.
No. My mom could cook,
But that turkey,
but she could not cook a turkey.
yeah. The turkey, you got to spatchcock it. That's the
You
trick.
got to no, and you got to take your time. Everything can't be. See, this it's all full circle, right? Everything can't be cranked up to 400 degrees.
Nah.
Just because that's where you want to cook it at.
Right.
You know, you got to take the time.
Right.
But like, I'm not a big turkey. Matter of fact, I really don't even care for turkey. If I never eat turkey again,
You'll be all right.
I would be perfectly fine.
Okay.
So this year we're not going to do a big dinner like I normally do.
I might have to drop some turkey off on you.
So that would be perfect for the wife.
Might have to do that.
That would be perfect for the wife.
I'm going to spatchcock it.
I don't know what that means.
It's when you take the spine out of the poultry. It's really with anything. Chicken, turkey. You take the back spine out of the bird. Then you open it up and you crack the chest bone. So the bird lays out flat.
That sounds painful.
Where the bird is dead. So
I mean, it's facts.
right?
Yeah, you know, but that's
bird is dead. But what happens is the reason why turkey meat usually dries out is because the breast sits up at the top.
Right.
The done temperature for the breast is much lower than for the dark meat.
Right.
So you have to cook it to make sure that the dark meat is done.
Right.
But the heat comes from the top,
Right.
mostly in the oven, which means the breast is done before the dark meat is. And by the time the dark meat is done, the breast
Is now
is a little overcooked.
Got it.
Almost always, right?
Always,
no matter
yeah.
how much basting you do,
Yeah.
your breast usually turns out a little.
brining.
Right.
Yeah.
You brine it, you end up with a better result, most likely. The best thing that I've done is I do a brine. I make a butter, compound butter. I pull the skin back.
Now
I
you
rub-
talking my language.
I rub that skin in there.
Yeah.
I let that sit for.
You do dry your skin before you put
Of
the
course.
Of course.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, right? And then you spatchcock it, you crack it open, you lay it flat, and what happens is the breast and the dark meat are now pretty
Even.
much equal.
Right.
So they're cooking at the same rate.
Right.
So
That
now
makes
you
sense.
have a much better cook.
Yeah.
And your breast, it'll be the juiciest breast you've ever had in your entire life. Hands down. We talking about turkey now. Turkey breast. Turkey breast. It's getting dark.
It is getting dark.
Yeah.
And you know I'm dark, so
right.
I do still have my shirt on.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So
But
yeah, slide.
we
slide
got
us
anything?
some.
Yeah. If I do it this year, if I'm here, I slide some over. But anything else for the guest before we get up out of here, guys? I'm gonna lie. This wind, y'all might not hear it.
yeah.
I hope y'all don't hear it. But it's been beating me up. I'm over here trying to hold it together.
And I'm sitting here trying not to shake on camera. You
Right.
know,
I mean, you from
I'm not
Ohio,
nervous.
so I figured you was good.
So first off, let me stop you there. To anybody who lives in a colder climate, doesn't it bother you when somebody be like, "Oh, well, you're from Ohio"? So people used to say that a long time ago. They'd be like, "Oh, well, you're from Ohio. You should be used to the cold." And I'm like, "Well, it's not like I was outside like naked. You know, like I'd still have on the appropriate gear. You know what I mean? You dress for the weather. I've never gotten used to cold weather. However, if there was one thing between either being hot or cold, I would prefer to be cold any day.
yeah, put on more layers.
Because you can always put on more layers.
That's right.
But you could be butt naked and still be hot.
Yes, sir.
You
And
can-
locked up.
You can be underwater.
Right.
I don't know if anybody swims, but I decided to go swimming once and swim a mile. I didn't know you could sweat underwater. I did not know you could sweat underwater.
That's terrible.
I thought it was water dripping off of me. It was just me. I was overheated, and I was stupid. But I was young.
Right.
I've never swam a mile again.
Never again.
Collectively, I probably never swam a mile since then. But
Malik,
yeah.
when we was in Boy Scouts, he was what did they call it? Wolf. What did the
Cub Scouts.
Cub Scouts? Is
I don't
that
know.
what Cub Scouts?
yeah.
Yeah, Cub Scouts. So I was a Boy Scout. He's a Cub Scout.
I could never join it.
He took off.
Yeah.
He swam like 2 and something miles. Crazy. I think he was just really not trying to die. Is how he pulled it off.
Yeah.
I'll let him tell you that story one day. Maybe when we do another update in mid-November. But anyone got any questions for myself or our lovely guest, Mr. Marcus, before we take off? Because as we can see, the sun is fading. The wind is not letting up.
It ain't letting up.
And I'm getting cold. So let's what we got in here. My daughter and her husband own a house. She's always complaining about weeds in her lawn. I'm going to try to get them to take a master gardening course with me. Excuse me. I like growing my own food. So I'll tell you right now, Barbara, when you get to there's like 2 sections in the Master Gardener's course. One of them's talking about using herbicides, pesticides. That's probably going to be the only area within that course where they actually try to teach you and show you how to remove weeds out of your lawn, because to be honest, Master Gardening is all about trying to get you to use less chemical. But the coolest thing, you can help her now and tell her to download a plant identification app, right? There's plenty of different ones, not any one particular I favor. They all have a free version of them, and of course they try to get you to upgrade to the one that you got to pay for. You don't have to do that. Download that, identify the weeds, or pull up the weeds and take them to your local extension office, figure out what they are, and then do the research on how she can get them out the best way possible. So there's some certain weeds it's best to go after them after they have emerged, and then there's some that you can use a pre-emergent to get out of there. But there's many different factors, like, are you going to be using that grass to make compost? Because if you're going to use that grass to make compost, you don't want to use a lot of those chemicals. The fertilizer, that's okay, no worries there. But the herbicides, pesticides, and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to use that grass for some time. And when you read the label, it'll tell you that. So I'll let you know that right now. Grace, Rob, one more question. What is the height of cut on the lawn? So the front lawn is at 2 1/4 right now. This side plot is at 3 1/4. Last week it was at 4 1/4. Now it's at 3 1/4. I brought it down just a little bit, and I took the front down to 2 1/4 because Kenny Cooper told me to. So that I'll tell you in the video that's going to be released in the morning. You'll see it. I show you that.
It looks good too, though.
I think yours is at 3 1/4.
Mine is at, I believe, 3 1/4.
Yeah, 3 1/4. A Beautiful Nest TV, yes, we're about to go, but I'm glad you popped in. I need to catch up on that daggone black soap, that royal black soap. I need to order me some of that. When you were cutting it, it just looked, I've never wanted to eat soap before, but that soap looked good enough to eat. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Yeah, I came from New York, and people say it all the time down south. You used to be called.
See, exactly.
It's getting dark, Lamont.
Yeah, it is.
It's getting dark, but
Is that Lamont from Chicago?
Lamont. No, that's Lamont from Detroit.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that's Lamont from North Carolina.
Yeah. Thank you. I used their cut grass for compost. I will tell her yes. So if you use their cut grass for compost, you do not want to go the herbicide route. You probably want to go out there and start picking with your fingers, or if you really want to get those weeds out, then you might want to find a new source of compost for a little while. That's just that. Thanks for sharing your story. Cool, thank you. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll watch the live with hubby. We need all the lawn tips we can get. Well, we kind of went over some basics. So before we go, I want to give you this. Cultural practices is going to get you the furthest. After you do your soil test, you need to feed your lawn appropriate to that soil test. Then after you feed your lawn appropriate to that soil test, and this actually works out for you gardeners as well. Like if your lawn is not thick and vigorous, you can get it thicker and more vigorous, and you can use that grass in your compost. It's just a little bit of NP and K.
I'm fading out.
Just a little NP. Oh, you fading all the way?
Yeah, you can't see me at all, cuz I ain't even there no more. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm a smile so y'all know that I'm still here. Like,
that's funny. You can use a little NP and K.
we need some flash or something, bro.
Let me see if I can. Dude, let me turn the light on.
It probably won't.
No.
I think it's good. I just.
Oh, what happened? Oh, okay, I'm back. All right, so yeah, NP and K. Yeah, you got light. There you go. So that NP and K that you're putting on your lawn, it'll work. It'll work for the But that NP and K that you're putting on your lawn and you're making your lawn thicker, you can end up feeding that right back into your garden. And then you mow often and make sure it gets the adequate amount of water. And if you're not using herbicides and pesticides, it works out tenfold because you don't really need them if you just want your lawn to look better. And since we are literally fading to black,
yes, we are.
I'll let Marcus say the last whatever. And
oh no! Again, like I said earlier, I just appreciate you for allowing me into the family. And then, hopefully we can do this again. Maybe we'll start a little bit earlier. It is getting into the winter time.
We're losing the sun.
Or move it inside or something.
Right.
Different topics. But
right.
I enjoy myself. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
I appreciate you as a neighbor.
Yeah.
And then most importantly, appreciate you as a friend. So,
yeah. Most that.
That's it.
All right, peeps. That's out. There will be a video released tomorrow.
Can't wait.
It's not gonna be 6 minutes. It'll be a little longer. Yes. So Yes. All right. Bye, guys. I enjoyed the story. Cool. All right. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. All right.